Today we're going to take a look at Colt Express. Colt Express is a card programming game for 2 to 6 players. It plays in 45 minutes. It was designed by Christophe Raimbault and Jordi Valbuena. It was published by Ludonite Games, so let's take a quick look. In Colt Express, everyone is going to have a character. Maybe you choose them or you may draft them, however you choose to get them. But there's 6 characters that you have to choose from. There is Tuco, Cheyenne, Doc, Ghost, Django, and Belle, my daughter's favorite because it's purple. Each character has a special power. So for instance, Tuco, when he shoots, he can shoot up or down as well, not just side to side. Now let's talk about how this game plays. In the game, your goal is to, at the end of 5 rounds, to have the most money. Now money is represented in 3 ways. It's represented by these little money bags, which have a amount of money on the back, and it can be anything from 200, 250, 400, 450, 500, things like that. Then we also have these little gems, and they have a certain amount of money on them as well. And then the other commodity in the game that you're looking to steal and acquire before the end of the game is briefcase. And briefcases have the most money on them. Now there's different ways you get these things, but let's talk about how you play the game as far as your character goes, how you move them. Each player is going to get a set of player action cards, and they're going to look like this, and they're going to be everything from moving the marshal, shooting, moving up and down, punching, my favorite, moving side to side, picking up money. And then each player is also going to have a set of bullet cards. And bullet cards are for when you shoot another player, you give them one of your bullet cards and they put it in their deck. All the backs look the same. And when they put it in their deck, it just clogs up their deck. Much like any deck building game where you have cards in there that clog up your deck. That's what those are used for. Now these are placed on your player board. Now the way you choose the rounds is pretty unique. You're going to have a bunch of different cards. These are for 2 to 4 players, and then we've got a set for 5 to 6 players. Since we've set up for a 3-player game, we're going to take the 2 to 4 player and we're going to draw 4 of those. And there's more than 4. We're going to draw 4 of them. And then we're going to draw randomly also a stop card, and that's going to go on the bottom, and that's going to be our 5 rounds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On these cards, when you turn them over for each round, they're going to show you a couple things. They're going to show you how many cards are going to be played this round. And when you look at these things mean different things. So here means that everybody in turn order is going to play a card face up, and then play a card face up, and then play a card face down because you're going in a tunnel and it's hidden. And then this is reverse turn order. And then some of the cards have a end of round action thing that's going to happen that's going to mess somebody over or maybe help you. Let's talk about how these are played. So if I'm the start player, and we see in round 1, the first card is played face up, I look at my cards and I go, okay, I'm way over here. Which direction do I want to move? Now, this is how you would set the game up for a 3-player game. The first player, the start player would be the number 1, then the next player would be number 2, then 3. So you're going to put the odds in one card and the evens in the other, that sort of deal. But they all start in there. So let's say since I'm the start player, the very first thing I want to do is I want to pick up some loot. So I'm going to play that down right there. And then let's say the second player is blue, and he wants to also pick up some loot because he's hoping he's not going to get hit or shot or anything. And then the third player says, okay, well, I'm going to pick up some loot too. No, wait, I'm going to shoot. That's what I'll do. I'll shoot. And then we're going to do this again, and we're going to play another card. And then when we get to the third round, we're going to play cards face down. So I'm going to play I'm going to move up. I'm going to play a up card face down. And then the blue player is going to play this card face down, and the green player is going to play this card face down. And then we have another card face up, and it'll be in reverse order. So I'm just going to hope that I'm somewhere I can pick something up. And this one's going to hope they can pick something up, and Final is going to punch. Now, the way this works is what we're going to do is, now that we've gotten to the end of the playing the cards phase, we're going to pick these cards up. Now, remember, these are in order from back to front, so we're actually going to just flip them over, and we're going to play the top card. So the first card we're going to play is money. So in this case, I'm the red player. I'm going to take some money, and I can see what it is, and then I'm going to keep it on my face down. Second player is also going to pick up some money. And we'll pick up a gem because that's more expensive. Third player is going to shoot. Now you shoot in a line on the level you're on the level of the car you're on, in a straight line until you hit somebody. And when there's a choice, sometimes you can choose somebody. Special powers will let some of the players, if another player can be shot, they'll let them be shot. There's all kinds of things. Like I said, my special power is when I'm shooting, I can shoot up as well. So if I was shooting, I not only could shoot this way, but I could shoot up. But let's say I shoot over here and I shoot the blue player. At that point, the blue player is going to get one of these cards and put it in their deck. So when they're drawing, they're going to be drawing cards that don't do any good. And later in the game, that's going to be potentially a problem, because if they've only got 6 cards and we're playing one of the rounds that requires more than 5 cards or whatever, maybe you only have 5 cards, but you can't play one of them. So that's kind of the interesting thing there. Let's just go through this round really quick, and then the next one will be back to me, and I'm going to move, and I can move up to 3 cards in any direction. So I definitely want to get away from these people, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I move there. Next is the blue guy is going to punch the green guy. Now, if the green guy had any kind of valuables that he has stolen, he would drop one. And then the green player is going to pick up. So in that case, if it had something, it would probably pick it right back up. And then I'm going to move up. And these were the ones that were hidden. And then blue's going to shoot, so forth and so on. You see how this works. You keep playing till the end. You know what you're going to be doing, but then other players can mess it up, especially on the cards where you don't know what they're playing, especially on these tunnel cards. It's not quite as bad as some of the other programming games where all the cards are programmed face down, but it's got some of that wonkiness in there. But it's fun. The not knowing is kind of fun. And so you're going to play until you get through this deck. Now let's talk about the Marshal. If somebody actually played the Marshal card, which is this one right here, you would move the Marshal 1 space. Now the key thing about the Marshal is, if the Marshal moves into a space where there's another player, that player is shot and takes one of the Marshal cards, bullet cards, and that clogs up your deck as well. And then there's some other things that happen when you're in there. You move up, you move out of the way. You can't move into a space that has a Marshal. So things like that happen. But you play the game until the end of these rounds. Now, well, folks, I really like Colt Express. First off, it comes with some great components. It comes with the trains, the cars that go along with them. Now, one thing I would recommend, when you get them together, they come apart. You have to put them together, and they pieces that slide in. Good cardboard. I just put a dab of super glue at some of the connections to keep it from coming apart after use. It may wear, but those are great components. Also, it comes with little meeples that have little guys like they're shooting. Those are great. The pieces that represent the money, that's great. I understand. I would like to have had them be actual chunky pieces, but then that would just make it harder to get your fingers in and out of the thing, which I'll talk about in just a second. Also, the cards are great. I like the mechanic of you getting shot and then getting cards put in your deck that make it harder to work through your deck. So let's talk about the one thing I don't like about the game that makes it very hard, because of these big things. And it's putting your fingers in there and pulling the pieces out. Generally, I just let my children and my wife pull them out because they've got smaller hands. I have thought about getting some sort of larger tweezer plastic things to reach in there. I just haven't done that yet because, hey, my children can do it. One of the things you saw in the video that does not come in the game is this little terrain piece right here. I made this terrain piece. It's just polystyrene, some foam core on the back to give it a little bit more sturdiness. And then I carved it out, cut into it, made all the pieces are made out of either foam board, polystyrene, and then there's some gravel and rocks I glued on as well to make it look like a train track. It's not perfect, it's not exactly the way I want it, but I'm learning how to work with this material, and I'm always getting better at it. As you see, I did a broken down wall, a campfire well, cactus. It's the goofiest looking cactus in the world. I know, I'm going to be fixing that. This does not come with the game. However, it really changes the way the game feels. It makes it, instead of just putting it on a table, it just a visual element, and those things really help in games. Adding music, all those sorts of things. Now music, great thing. Hey, you can do Western music, go on YouTube, go on tabletopaudio.com. That's a great place. Play some music. All that helps in the game. It's a great game. I think it can play pretty young as well. I'm not sure what the box says because I don't really pay much attention to the ages on the box. I would say my 9 and 12-year-old play it just fine. This is not needed to play the game, but this sure does help. And this is part of what we do here at Board at Table is how can we get games for the table. And after I built this, my children said, Daddy, I want to play that game. Let's play the game you're building that for. And we've played it a bunch since. And it's been a great thing. So take Colt Express, take it out, play it with your family, add some of those elements if you have the ability. If not, play the game. It's still a great game. So thank you for joining us today at Board at Table as we looked at Colt Express. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, get games played.